Hi, friend. Okay, today we're going to talk about the truth about building $1 million business that nobody talks about. Because revenue is something that we all want to get into, right? We all want to make that money from our business, but revenue is a vanity metric, but profit is king. Profit is the reality. That is what we need, because your revenue, who cares? We need to know what's coming into your bank account after all is said and done, all expenses are paid. So let's say you have two different businesses. One, option A, it's $1 million business, but it pays you $40,000 a year. Option B is a $300,000 business, but it puts $150,000 back inside your pocket. Most people don't ever really think about this because all they want is to hit that next revenue goal. But what business would you rather own? I know for me, I'm taking that $300,000 business all day, every day over that $1 million business, because there's a big old difference between $40,000 and $150,000. And even if you know that at the $1 million business, you could get to $150,000, you're going to have to do some serious transformation or some serious scaling to ever get yourself to the $150,000. And the problem is that you will run into so many issues along the way in $1 million business that are a lot harder than that $300,000 business. We always hear about people getting stuck in a revenue trap. I've been here. Revenue trap is real because we are comparing ourselves to other people. We see things in groups online. Oh, I just did $100,000 this month. Oh, I just did a $70,000 launch. But nobody's mentioning the amount of money they're spending in ads or their team or anything. You're just seeing the one number. You're not seeing their big picture. You're going to see, oh, I hit 6 figures, I hit 7 figures, but what about the expenses? You look and see all these follower counts. You see, oh, this person has 1 million followers, I want 1 million followers. You don't see how they got that. You don't see that if they bought those followers. You don't see how many people are on their team doing interaction and reach out every day to help them get there. You might see revenue screenshots from people, but it doesn't prove profit. You never hear about the take home. So the real question is, what are people's actual profit margins? What does the owner take home? Is the business growing, or is it completely consuming that person? Could it run without them for 2 weeks? I don't know about you, but if I could build a $300,000 business, take home $150,000, and it run without me for 2 weeks, I would take that all day long versus having that $1 million business at $40,000 in take home at the end of the year that can't run without me for 2 seconds. You have to focus on something other than vanity metrics all the time. This is not just about this specifically, but in all areas of the business, stop focusing on the vanity metrics and start focusing on the real outcomes. Healthy business metrics. Okay, profit margin. This is what stays after your expenses. The target for service-based businesses is 20 to 40%. Anything less than that, and you're in trouble. You have to get your expenses under control. Anything more than that, and you're actually bottlenecking your business that could be scaling and growing if you would reinvest into your business more. And that's fine. If you have a 60% profit margin and you don't want to grow anymore, then you keep taking that 60%. That is incredible. But for a lot of us, we want to continue to build and scale, and so it does come with a little bit of give and take. For product-based businesses, this can get a little tricky. Product-based businesses are very hard to have a profit, especially a healthy profit, because take, for instance, the clothing space, right? Okay, your inventory is likely a minimum of 50% of your margins. And that's if you're at about a 2.5% increase. So you pay $10 for something, you end up pricing it for $25. That's why you want to try to push that as high as you can to try to free up a little bit of room, because there's no other business model out there outside of a product-based business that's going to have that high of a margin on just one category. So it is a little trickier, but it's definitely still doable. Then you have your customer acquisition cost. What is the cost to get a new customer? We all have a cost to get a new customer. Even if you are doing everything organically, there is still a cost. It's a cost of your time and energy. The lower the cost is, the more efficient your marketing is, and it's a signal to try to scale. The higher it is, the more you need to look at, do you really know your ideal customer avatar? Do you really know what you're doing in your marketing? There's a lot of things that it can tell us, but I would start there. Then lifetime value of a customer. This is the total revenue that you get per customer for the amount of time that they're your customer. The higher the LTV, the more you can spend to acquire a new one. Total revenue per customer or client is very, very much increased by implementing email marketing. So definitely have that going, whether you do it yourself, with another agency, with Boutique Besties. I literally don't care. I just want you to make sure that you're implementing email marketing in your business, because it will change the game with the lifetime value portion of your business. All right, retention, another huge business metric that people just don't pay attention to. How long does that customer stay with you? So we pay to acquire them, we have a lifetime value of them, but is that lifetime value cut short because they're not being retained for very long? Retention will always be cheaper than acquisition. So if you have a high churn rate of customers or clients, you need to figure out why. And then you need to fix it quickly, very quickly, because otherwise you are spending all this time, energy, and money pulling new people in, and they are leaving as fast or faster on the back end. So definitely consider what it could be. A lot of times it could be like you're either over retargeting, not retargeting enough, not providing exceptional customer service, just lots of different things. Sending out customer surveys is a great way to figure out what you could be missing the mark on. Point blank asking somebody, hey, I noticed you haven't shopped with me in 6 months. Is there something I did wrong? Could I do something better? And see if you get an answer from them. A lot of people would give you an answer. Okay, cash flow, money in versus money out. Profitable businesses still go under from poor cash flow. Okay, I see this a lot in agencies like mine specifically, because they might do work for people and those people don't pay them. So they've paid out independent contractors or team members or whatever, and then they don't ever get paid. And then we have a cash flow issue, right? You'll see this in a product-based business with a pre-order gone wrong. Okay, you were telling people, hey, I'll order these items for you. When they get here in 6 weeks, I'll invoice you, and blah, blah, blah. You invoice, for 100 items in 6 weeks, and 75% of those people ghost you. You're in trouble. So there are issues with this. There's also issues with not doing any of those and just having normal money coming in, but you have way more money going out. You have to watch your cash flow. Growth is great, but growth can create issues. If you do not get your stuff fixed when you're small, you will just create bigger issues when you're bigger. I've experienced this myself. I have seen this happen, because growth does not fix a broken business. It just magnifies the issues. If you have more customers, that means more customer support, more complaints, more churn, more support tickets coming in, more issues. Having more customers and not having solid delivery of whatever it is that you're giving them is not going to help. More customers, higher revenue, decreased profit, because now we have to have more team, more energy focused on all these issues that we should have fixed when we were smaller. Okay, more support. You're going to have hiring costs, training time, management overhead. If you overhire, you are going to run into some cash flow issues for sure. If you have more staff, it is great. It makes you feel so good because you don't have to do nearly as much work. You're going to have more payroll, more HR issues, more communication breakdown. It is hard to build a team. If you have more expenses because, you're growing and therefore you're having to spend more money, you can easily see tighter margins, cash flow stress, and less take home, because growth doesn't fix a broken business. You want to have a small, extremely healthy business and then scale that. Don't think that scaling is going to fix the broken pieces. Okay, what do wealthy business owners really focus on? They focus on profitability, predictability, systems, and recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is a huge thing for businesses because it gives you some security and some safety net. A lot of times recurring revenue can actually help cover your main overhead so that anything outside of that helps to facilitate the growth of the business. So some different things you can do. You can have memberships, retainers, subscriptions, But you can also do things like subscription boxes. If you're in a physical product space, you can do like a recurring t-shirt membership where every month they get a t-shirt sent to them. The sky is truly the limit here. You just need to think about how you can utilize it for your business. What people really underestimate is the recurring revenue model of an email list. This is the key. Email, for every $1 spent in email, $42 is recovered. That's not my stats. That's the stats of the world, okay? Email list is where it's at. So if you're not building and utilizing your email list, you are missing the mark. And that is a huge way to make sure that your business is healthy when it's small and healthy when it's large. The goal isn't to build the biggest businesses. The goal is to build a business that gives you the life you want. Focus on the margins. I will say that one thing that helped me tremendously was following The Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I found this book years and years ago, and it changed my life. I, at the time, had a very successful boutique. We were doing really well, but I could not figure out why my take-home pay was not good. Not for the amount of work I was putting in it, not for the amount of revenue we were bringing in. I was like, something's got to give. So I read this book, and it was like, just, I don't know, like the angel started singing, because I was like, this makes so much sense. The whole idea behind it is that when you get to the end of your toothpaste, somehow we are able to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze every little drop out, right? And we are a lot more conscious about how much we're using each time, and we don't waste it, and we really like value what's left in there. Versus when we get a new tube of toothpaste, we don't care that we're wasting it. We just like throw out whatever on our toothbrush. It's just like irrelevant to us. But as that amount gets less and less and less in the tube, we get more and more mindful of what we are working with. The same thing goes for your bank account. When you see less money, you are more meticulous with how you spend it. And so the idea behind Profit First is that you have multiple business bank accounts. I've even implemented this in my own personal bank accounts, and it's amazing. So the idea is that you have different bank accounts so that you don't have one bank account with all this money lumped in, because in reality, that all that money is not for you to use, right? For instance, product-based business, 50% of that money is likely going to inventory. So what you should do instead is you should have an inventory account where money goes into one main account, 50% is pulled into an inventory account that same day or sometime around that same time, and then you're left with what you're left with in the main account. From there, you have taxes that are pulled out. You have owner's compensation. You have profit. But the very first thing it says to pull out is profit, because we need to be able to pay ourselves. It's a great book. I could not recommend it more. I would not do it any benefit whatsoever by sitting here telling you that I could tell you exactly what's in there. I can't. I have made it, I think I've done a little tweaks here and there to make it work for me even more as I've done it over the years. I've been doing it now for, like 10 years, 9 or 10 years, like a long time. And it is so incredible. It does take a little while to dig yourself out of a hole if you already have a business with, money all over the place. But it's possible. I did it. I know you can do it. And then once you actually get there, it feels so incredibly good to just know that it's all taken care of. And I actually use an online bank called Relay Financial, and it lets me have all the free accounts that I want. So I'm able to pull into as many little things as my heart's desire. So I'm not like affiliated with them or anything, but it works really well for me. I love it. You can have multiple businesses and be able to access everything. That you can do deposit, like if you have a paper check, do it from your phone, goes into your bank account. It's amazing. I love it. It has auto transfer rules. Can't say enough about it. Anyways, that was just my little extra. Nobody asked for it, but I wanted to share my experience and let you know there are some incredible tools out there for you to help you get these numbers under control so that you can have a profitable business that pays you really good. Stop focusing on those vanity metrics. Stop focusing on how much money you had in sales this month, and instead focus on how much profit did you have at the end of the month. Set a goal for profit and then go after it, and the revenue is going to take care of itself. All right, guys. Talk soon. Love you. Bye.